Look around you. This world is constantly in motion, distractions, noise, heartbreak, victories, disasters all happening at once. But what if I told you that everything you're experiencing, every test, every ease, every struggle, is not about now? What if the real secret to surviving this dunya was never about reacting in the moment of preparing before it ever comes? What if I told you that peace in chaos comes from arriving spiritually before your body does? Imagine praying Salah, not just because it's time, but because your heart was already there before the adhan called you. Imagine facing hardship, and instead of breaking, you've already rehearsed it so many times in your soul that you meet the trial with because you've already been there in your heart. This is not fantasy. This was the prophetic mindset. This was the way of our Prophet Muhammad, and if you truly want to live a life connected to Allah, to thrive through every test, this is the mindset you must carry today. On Islamic Echoes, we explore the art of spiritual detachment, how to rise above the chaos of this world, prepare for the unseen, and arrive where it matters, before it ever happens. The Prophet Muhammad once received a question, "When is the hour?" Instead of answering with a time or date, he asked a question that pierced the heart. What have you prepared for it? This single response holds the blueprint for the believer's mindset, not when, but how. Not fear of the unknown, but readiness for it. His philosophy isn't limited to the day of judgment. It's about every experience in life. Whether it's death, loss, poverty, old age, or even joy and wealth, Prophet Muhammad taught us to spiritually arrive before we physically do. Detachment doesn't mean apathy. It means you're deeply rooted in the reality of the hereafter. While navigating the waves of dunya, you walk into the masjid. How present is your heart? For some, the body arrives, but the mind is still trapped in the last email, the argument at home, the Instagram scroll. But the believer's goal is for the heart to arrive before the feet. Dojamor is a perfect test. If your fingers were still tapping the phone the moment the Khutbah began, your soul didn't arrive. You're physically in the masjid, but spiritually still in the marketplace. The Prophet was deeply present. He would pray as if it was his final prayer. He taught that true excellence is when the soul faces Allah before the body moves. Spiritual detachment also means preparing yourself before the world shakes. Whether that's war, civil collapse, personal tragedy, or global catastrophe, when these things come, and they will, what have you prepared? Even if you never face these events, the mindset remains. You're not living in fear, you're rooted in tawakkul. You're grounded in Allah, while mentally, emotionally, and spiritually rehearsing every possible scenario. So if the test ever comes, you respond with dignity and faith, not panic and confusion. Sebarat, Bakr, who prepared to camels for months before the Prophet Muhammad told him he would be his companion in Hijrah. He rehearsed the moment so many times that when the Prophet asked, his answer was not, "Let me get ready," but rather, "I've been ready." That's detachment, not from people, but from worldly dependence. The companions were not reactionary. They transcended the moment, because their souls had been there already. If you're healthy today, ask yourself, have I already spiritually prepared for sickness? If you're wealthy now, have you emotionally detached enough to remain stable, if all of it vanished tomorrow? This isn't pessimism. It's the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad. When you rehearse future scenarios in your heart and prepare your soul for the worst, then no storm can truly shake you. If it never comes, you're still connected to Allah. If it does, you're already grounded. How do you practice detachment daily? You give in charity often. You feel that dip in your bank account. Instead of panic, you feel peace. Why? Because you gave for Allah. You stand in prayer and leave behind your phone, your business, your family, even for just a few minutes. Detachment isn't about abandoning, it's about prioritizing. Even when the Prophet Muhammad was drinking from a cup with Hazrat Aisha, and the adhan was called, he dropped everything. He wasn't neglectful. He was spiritually aligned. We often confuse detachment with carelessness, but Islam doesn't call for neglecting people or responsibilities. On the contrary, it commands love your family, earn your rizq, build your home, but don't let any of it own you. Detachment is about using the world, not being used by it. It's about driving your wealth, not letting your wealth drive you. Imam Hassan al-Basri said, "I've known people who neither rejoiced when the world came to them, nor grieved when it left them. They weren't indifferent, they were spiritually freed. They treated dunya like a guest, not a master. Their hearts were not chained to material possessions or fleeting feelings. Their only fear was sin, and their greatest joy was nearness to Allah. They felt more joy giving to others than receiving. They cried not when wronged by people, but when they disobeyed their Lord. Spend time with the poor, the oppressed, the sick. When you do, dunya's glitter fades. You see its betrayal with your own eyes. And when the world tries to seduce you, you remember, it betrayed them. Will betray me too. This isn't a gloomy mindset. It's one that keeps you awake. When you know the world for what it is, you stop falling for illusions. You stop expecting permanence from a temporary world. The Prophet Muhammad loved deeply his companions, his wives, his ummah, but he loved Allah the most. That's the secret. You can own the world and not be owned by it. You can love people and still let go when Allah calls. You can enjoy blessings, but know they are just borrowed time in a world intoxicated by fame, wealth, and appearance. It's easy to be swept up in the illusion that this life is everything, but the ones who have truly tasted the betrayal of the dunya, those who once chased its promises only to be broken by them, carry a wisdom that no book can teach. Surround yourself with such souls. Their silence speaks volumes. Their hearts beat not for the approval of people, but for the pleasure of their Lord. These are the people who will remind you, when you're tempted to give too much of your soul to temporary pleasures, that everything you seek in dunya ends up leaving you emptier if Allah isn't in it. Their tears are real, their prayers sincere, their goals eternal. Their very presence shifts your perspective from the fleeting to the everlasting. When you sit in their company, you begin to see the cracks in this world's illusion. You recognize that true strength isn't in chasing more, but in letting go. That real honor isn't in being seen by millions, but in being known by Allah. These are the ones who help you detach, not through cynicism, but through faith, because they've seen the glitter fade and still chosen to shine through submission. So, choose your companions wisely, because proximity is power. Who you sit with will shape who you become. Let it be with those who were once broken by dunya, but rebuilt by Allah. The one who learns this lives in peace, because they know, if Allah takes it, He gave it in the first place. And whatever He keeps or gives back is always better than what we imagined. Imagine you're at a restaurant. You paid for your meal, and then they bring you a free dessert. You didn't ask, you didn't pay, but it came anyway. How do you feel? Grateful, overjoyed. That's life. Every blessing you have right now, your health, your time, your money, your family, it's all that free dessert. Allah gave it to you without obligation. He could take it back, so don't cling to the dessert. Be thankful to the one who gave it, and when He takes it back, say Alhamdulillah. To Allah belongs what He gave, and to Him belongs what He took. If today's video stirred something in your soul, don't let it pass like a moment. Let it become your mindset. Start living like someone preparing for the future. Love deeply. Give freely. Pray like it's your last chance. And above all, detach from the dunya and connect to the one who never leaves you. This is Islamic Echoes, where every video brings your soul one step closer to Allah. If this resonated with you, don't just watch, comment your thoughts. Share it with someone you love, and make sure to subscribe, because your heart deserves reminders that echo for eternity. Until next time, stay grounded, stay grateful, and stay spiritually present. Jazak Allah.